Hello everyone, welcome to Basically Neda. I am Neda and this is my August wrap-up. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of August. I finished 4 books. There was 1 5-star book, 2 books that were 4-star rated, and 1 book that was 3-star rated. I'm going to start with the 5-star book that I read and loved and enjoyed very much this month. It was also the first one that I finished. The book that I'm talking about is called The Judas Blossom by Stephen Aryan. This is a historical fantasy novel that takes place during the time of the 13th century Persia. The Mongols have taken over, and the Mongols have taken over the northern part of Persia, and the rebels, the Persian rebels, are trying to take back their country, basically. And in this book, there are 5 POVs. The first POV is Hulagu Khan, who is Genghis Khan's grandson, and he is in charge of Ilkhanate, which is Persia, and we go through his point of view of how the Mongols wanted power and what they did to get the regions and the lands that they wanted to take over, and basically what his point of view was towards that side, the Mongol side. Hulagu Khan was a real person. You can research him if you like to do that. But in this book, most of the events that happens are loosely based on history. Like, they're more fictional and based on what the story is going to be. It's not really based on the history. So the second POV that I'm going to talk about is Temujin. Temujin is Hulagu Khan's son, and I believe he's actually fictional. He's not really in history. I couldn't find any information about him. So he's very significant to this story, and that's probably why he's the fictional one. I'm not going to go into a lot of information for him because he's significant and I don't want to ruin the story for you guys. So the third POV that we meet is Kayvan. He's the Persian general who lost the war to the Mongols, and he is now rebelling against the Mongols. When we first meet him, he is a part of the rebellion group who are attacking Temujin's people and Temujin. Like, they attack them while they're trying to take taxes from the Persian people in the south, which is in this area is the province of Shiraz, which is one of the most ancient cities. And just to show you what geographically what it was, where it is where Pasargad and Persepolis are, and there are other cultural significant architectural places as well. But just to show you where they are, which is southern part of Persia and now Iran. And the fourth POV point of view is Kokochin. who is the only survivor of her tribe, and she's captured by Kabule Khan, who is Hulagu Khan's brother. He captures her and gives her to Hulagu Khan as a gift as a new bride. But Hulagu Khan already has a bunch of wives. Like he has 9 wives and 12 concubines, and he's not very happy, and he doesn't really want Kokujin. But at the end he accepts her just to be nice, and he tends to leave her in Tabriz, where it is northwestern part of Persia. Kokujin is a historical figure, but there's not much said about her. That's why she is you can't really find much information about her. I think the only place that you would mostly see would be the travels of Marco Polo. You would hear about her in there, but not much is written about her. So her storyline here is very fictional, and she's a bit of an significant person as well. The fifth POV I'm going to talk about, which I'm not really going to talk about, I'm just going to tell you, is the 12. The 12 are 12 women, Persian women, who are part of this organization, and they are powerful and significant figures in this story. They are not there's no information that says that these were actually historical people. They weren't. I don't think they are. I think this is just a creative thing that the author has done to show the rebellion part of this war and his story to go in the way that he wants it to go. So I'm not really going to go into it, but he does bring up in his notes that he uses a lot of historical figures, but that there's not much written about them, and that this is said before the story starts in his historical notes, and he's explaining that that he uses the historical figures that are not very well written about to explain his story, not necessarily the actual events that have happened, but he's trying to use it for it to be historical fantasy. In the historical notes, he talks about Zurkhane, which is basically an ancient Achaemenid era of it's a gym for men. It's a very old practice of weightlifting and wrestling. So there's weightlifting with wood. There's different kind of weights in different sizes of wood, and maybe I'll put a picture around here. And they'll also teach the art of ancient art of wrestling. I'm telling you guys this because he doesn't explain why he's talking about Zurkhane, because later on you will find out when you meet the 12 that it's significant towards them in a bit. So there are Zurkhanes right now in Iran. They're still there, people still practice weightlifting and wrestling. So there's also a reference of Zurkhane in Shahnameh, which is like Rostam goes into Zurkhane to practice wrestling. So you can tell that this is very old, as like a very ancient art that men were into at that time. This story is filled with politics, war, and we are presented with friendship at the first half of the novel. There is no signs of magical system until the halfway point, and in the end, there's a significant event that happens, especially in the last chapter, that made me feel like I was watching a movie or I was just in a video game. It was really cool. And this story is very captivating. Like every time that I finished a chapter, I just wanted to keep reading the next. And I just wanted to know more. The other part that I liked about this book is that the author presents the culture and the history very well, in a way that it is helpful to the reader. There's enough for the reader to understand the story, and yet if the reader wants to go and research about those particular events in actual history, they're very well like able to go and research them. It's very easy to find out who was who and what actually happened during the Mongol Empire in Persia and the other areas around it. So yeah, this was the book that I really loved. It was a 5-star for me. It was the very first 5-star for me for this month, for this year. And I recommend it for everybody to go and at least try to read it, because you might just learn some history, and it's pretty. It looks pretty on a shelf, so that it got that for it too. So yeah, I fully recommend this one. And then the second book that I read was The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the last book of the Ark of Sight trilogy. This book was the 4-star for me. The whole series, I felt like it was a 4-star for me. It was very captivating. It was plot driven, very fast, and they had twists and action scenes and relationships, and it was just very enjoyable. So the questions that this book look into as morality, or because this book is about death and humanity and those kind of things, it goes some of these questions that I had, and I'm going to share with you, like what happens when humanity figures out how to live longer? What happens when AI is going to control most of human well-being? For example, a car being driven by AI, or picking who will be the next leader of a city. Do we want to let one single person or one single AI take control of the humanity? or do we want different kind of databases that can help with different parts of our lives to be in charge of our well-beings, humanity's well-being? These were kind of questions that I had when I was going into it. The themes that are in this series are death, life, found family, politics, friendship, and it is an apocalyptic science fiction for YA readers, but it had such important themes that I think an adult like me would also enjoy reading this book, like this series. So the series really surprised me. From the beginning, I actually thought that I wouldn't enjoy this. I went into it thinking that it would just be another YA series, and that it would be lighthearted and just friendship and those kind of things. Themes of like maturity and like death and how to deal with death and things that happened to these characters that are very more things that happen to more adults than I would say like teenagers. These are like choices that they have to make, and the situations that they are in are very much a part of the adult life than a young adult. I'm not saying that young adults are not gonna go through that at all, but I'm just saying in an average, those kind of themes are more adult. And it was very captivating. There's like twists and politics and drama, but there are some plot holes to it. It is written very cleverly. The plot goes really fast. It ended like very nicely. Everyone's story ended. So it just my only thing that made it a 4 was because there were just some plot holes. And that's the only reason. But I recommend everybody try it, and it was pretty fun reading it. It was captivating and it was fun. Yeah. And the third book that I'm going to talk about is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This is a story of cities having avatars, and that these avatars have to protect the city from evil. This novel the prologue of the novel starts with the short story that is in How Long Till Black Future Month, in the short story collection that is called How Long Till Black Future Months, and the short story in that was called The City Born Great. From that, we move on to learning about the new characters who are the avatars of New York City. They each represent a borough of the New York City, and there's 5 of them, which five boroughs, 5 avatars. In order for them to save the city, they have to find each other, and good versus evil, that kind of thing. There's more character building in this story than the plot. Like, the characters are very complex, as it is usually in most of N.K. Jemisin's books. We get to learn a lot about these characters, because these characters are representing each borough, so their personalities are part of these boroughs. So it very much had to be more character built. So it was really fun reading this. The only part that I was not happy with was because like why it was a 4-star was when she's just talking about the city and the places that they're going to, but there is not much explanation of these parts of the city, as if like every reader knows what these are. It's like she was talking about, like they were talking about going to FDR Drive, and I had to Google that because I didn't know how significant that street drive is for that city. So it would have helped if there was more of explanation towards that for people who have never been to New York. But other than that, I really liked this story. This felt like a love letter to New York City. Literary video game, like a Studio Ghibli movie. That's what it felt like, and I think it's an homage of how much the author, N.K. Jemisin, loves the city, and how much, like, I feel like she put a lot of herself into this book, and it shows because it was very much written very well. So I do recommend people to pick this one up. It was very fun to read. The last book that I'm going to talk about is a nonfiction that I read. It is The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferris. It is a self-help business book, and I give this one a 3-star. It talks about being a business owner, and that you should source out the mundane little tasks that you don't like, and it takes so much time and your time is better spent doing the more important tasks. And then it goes on to talk about taking risks and don't follow the popular ideals, and start your own business if you really want to start your business. And if the 9 to 5 job is not for you, go ahead and start your business. You will be more happy in that way. There was a few things that I found that was outdated, like talk to your boss if you want to work from home. Like in this day of age, we all have that ability. I would presume so, that like if you don't want to work in the office, you can always find another job that has a hybrid. Like since 2020, we have that ability to do a hybrid job, from home. The marketing part, which is a little bit outdated, like nobody uses AOL anymore, but the point that he's making is to take all of the customers' emails and send them newsletters. That part does imply to nowadays, like we still do that kind of thing. The other thing that he talks about is taking a mini retirement, like take off a month or something and go and discover a new place, or go for vacation or whatever. Because when you get older, you probably won't be able to go to those places, or you might have health problems and won't be able to do what you really wanted to do. so you might as well do it now. So that what I found that interesting, that you can maybe just save up a little bit and then just go for your mini retirement and then come back to your work. So yeah, overall I found this book interesting, but I would say it's more for people who are starting their careers, or they're starting a new business. It would be more helpful to them than people who have already established their careers and their business. Like it's more of a basic book. And yeah, that's why I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3 because it's a bit outdated and it's just for the beginners. So it's not a bad book. It was okay. Those were the 4 books that I read in August. And let me know if you have read any of these books down in the comments. If you did you like them? What did you think of them? Do you have any recommendations for me? And yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please press the like button. If you want to see more of my content, please press the subscribe button and the notification button. That really helps my channel. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.